Hey, how's everybody doing? Today I am answering your questions, and we're doing the Q&A. So let's jump into it. You guys asked these questions on Instagram, and I am here to answer them to the best of my ability. So let's jump right in, see what we got. The first question comes from Digital Footprint. How are my Grandis doing? Can we get to see them on camera? Yeah, the Grandis are actually doing really good. The other, like 2-3 days ago, this cold front blew in. You can see all the wind kind of blowing behind me. And when this cold front blew in, the overnight started getting down into the 30s. So I went and I rounded the Grandis up and kind of put them inside. So right now they're sitting in a tub. And then when it gets a little bit warmer, I'm gonna leave them back outside probably for another few weeks until it gets cold again. And then they'll just be in for the rest of the season. They can handle low 50s. I've even had them out in the 40s, and they just kind of bury out into the ground and then come back up. But I don't really trust anything near freezing with them. But they're hardy turtles. They're really awesome. It was neat to round them up because I don't always see them. They like to hide during the day and then kind of come out at sunset. And that gives me the chance to see them. And it was cool because I rounded them up, and once I had them in hand, I was like, oh, they've actually grown a lot, which was really cool. So yeah, kids_critters. What would you say is the best prepared diet for most turtles? I mean, I like to use Missouri. I like to use Zoom Ed. Those are kind of the two that I stick to. I have used Omega-1. I just don't go too heavy on prepared diets because that's not what turtles eat in the wild. That's not what their digestive systems are made for. They are good to use as supplements. It's a great way to get some of the vitamins and natural things that they need. But if you're feeding a proper natural diet of what they would naturally eat in the wild, as close as you can get to that, I mean, I think you're already kind of covering most of your bases. But those are the brands that I like to use. I use the Missouri Tortoise for the tortoises. I use the Missouri Croc for aquatics, predatory aquatics, box turtles. And I even toss some to the redfoot, yellowfoot tortoises and the Burmese mountain because they actually like, to get some protein. And, I don't do it all the time, but it is a good little supplement to toss in there, and they do well on it. Dorset_Pythons asks, do ASTs shed their scutes? No, they do not. Now, I believe they have a layer on their shell when they hatch out. It's like a very, almost like velvety texture. And what that is for is so that when they hatch out, their shell is naturally going to kind of absorb a lot of mud and sand and algae, and it's going to help protect them and hide them and help them camouflage themselves. And then as they get older, that layer does kind of wear off. But your snapping turtles, they don't shed their scutes. They shouldn't be shedding their scutes. If they're shedding them in captivity, that's usually a water quality issue. Their scutes simply just grow as the turtle grows. They're not like a basking turtle. Colonia Croatica asks, when should I move baby box turtles outdoors? I don't know. I don't really raise baby box turtles. The ones I've had, I mean, I would move them once they're about 2.5 to 3 inches. I would say that's pretty good. Put them in a nice covered setup just so predators can't get to them, and give them tons and tons of cover and tons of available humidity and water. And I think that would be pretty good. And then if you're going to try and overwinter them, just a really deep substrate and keep an eye on them. That's my best advice. TYY_004, have you ever thought of having pink belly side necks? I have pink bellied side necks. Mel's Van Life Adventures, when are you and Dan going to work on your other pond? I've been asking myself the same thing. So we had an original plan that we were gonna knock this thing out in July, and then Dan ended up having to do some things, and work came up and life came up, and then I ended up getting a lot more weddings, and work came up, life came up. And then it went into trapping, then it went into the next month of weddings, and then work, and then more trapping. So the ball kind of kept getting kicked down the road, and there was just a whole series of events. We built a pond for Charlie. So I think the plan now is to do it sometime maybe later this month. I've been working on it bit by bit, but I recently had some life stuff come up, and it's been hard for me to even be at my house. So I'm hoping to get it done before December. If I can get it done in October and before regular freezing, I'll go ahead and get the turtles in there. Otherwise, I'll build it and just let it cycle over the winter, and then put the turtles in there in the spring. But it's gonna be really cool, and there's like some new ideas that I'm gonna incorporate. And Aquascape stepped up and just really, they've been amazing, and they supplied me with everything I need. So it's gonna be really, really cool. And there'll definitely be videos on it. And I might even see if I can enlist some volunteers to help so that we can get it done in a timely manner. Yeah, I'm like turning into an old guy now because I don't know how to work a phone. Wong's _ Keme Garden. What is my trick to get picky hatchlings onto pelleted food? I mean, generally, most turtles aren't going to just starve themselves to death. So as long as your setup, you know, your temperatures are right, your lighting is right, you provide them with some cover. You know, my first urge is not to get them on pelleted food. I mean, in an earlier question, I just answered that, you know, pelleted food shouldn't be your main focus. With hatchlings, I mean, frozen, you know, bloodworms work good. You can do little tiny pieces of fish. There's all kinds of little things that I'll do before I get them on pellets. But right, you know, if they'll take it right off the bat, that's great. I just hatched out some Mississippi map turtles, and just for fun, I sprinkled in some like hatchling turtle food, and they immediately started eating it. So, you know, some are just naturally going to be more food driven, and if the food smells good or is appealing, I mean, it's going to vary between species, but some of them just go right for it, and then some of them are kind of picky. But I think focus on your setup, and then focus on natural items, and then, you know, and then eventually they'll take pellets, because, you know, nobody wants to starve themselves to death. That's my experience. Disco Monkey 31, can a hiding place deform a turtle shell? I mean, if it gets stuck in there for like years, probably. I don't know, that's kind of a tough question. I'd be interested to know what other people think of that. Tom Arbor, where do I see myself turtle-wise in 5 years? I don't know. Let's see, 5 years ago, I definitely didn't see myself where I'm at now with this. So, you know, 5 years can change a lot. I mean, 5 years can be life-changing. So, turtle-wise, I definitely don't want more. I think I already have plenty of turtles. I'm definitely not trying to take on more. The more turtles you have, the more spread out you are in the care you provide. So every time you add more turtles, you're giving less time to the ones you already had. So it's been my experience that it's just better to have less and have things that you know through and through, and that you can focus on and be good at before you start taking on a lot of kind of extra crap. That's just my opinion. I know everybody wants me to say that I'm gonna have Aldabra tortoises or fly river turtles or you know, something goofy like that, but that's just not me. I really like the things that I have. I like that a lot of my stuff is native because it works here. I don't have to stress out about it having native turtles. You know, I have the permits for native turtles, and so they just thrive here. You know, I've got turtles that live in this thing that, you know, in their mind they live in the wild, and that's perfect. So taking on more over the next 5 years sounds just stressful. I just got a lot going on now, so I would rather just have a peaceful life than a stressful life. So I hope that's not like too deep of an answer for you. Buckeye Turtle, what is my best advice for someone wanting to start a reptile YouTube channel? Oh, that's a big question, and everybody's wanting to do that now. You know, I wasn't really ever planning on doing this. I always give the credit to this to Kenan from Camp Kenan. I was at an aquascape event, and I was kind of watching him and some others do YouTube stuff, and he really encouraged me to do this. So the credit for me doing this really goes to him and to Greg Whitstock for providing the Pandemonium event. My best advice would be just find something that you like to film and that you can talk about a lot and that you know through and through, and just start making videos. The ones in the beginning aren't going to be very good. If you go back to some of my earlier ones, they're terrible. But the more you do it, you'll find a rhythm. You'll start to find, you know, your identity and your place, and you'll start to network and start to meet other people. I would say the best overall advice though is try and put out at least one video a week. If you're not putting out regular content, then people are going to forget about you. You know, I feel that I've been a victim of that myself, that I went from putting out 3 videos a week and stressing out about it and trying to make sure I did 3 a week, and I felt like my content suffered a little bit, so I've slowed down now to about 1 or 2 a week, but focusing now on YouTube Shorts. And I feel like that's a healthy balance. I want to be able to share content, but I want to share quality, so make sure you're putting out quality content. And I don't know, I just think doing it is good. I mean, if it's something you want to do, then do it. Don't, you know, let anybody stop you. Don't give up, and just try to enjoy the process. So that's my advice, man. Good luck on YouTube, and shoot me a link and I'll subscribe. Midwest_turtle bro, can you send me underwater stripe neck footage? Yeah, man, I got some for you right here. All right, I hope you like that underwater stripe neck footage. Feller _ Florida. Everyone asks how the turtles are, but I want to know how you're doing. I'm doing good. I think I'll actually probably close out this video on that question. A couple weeks ago, I was out and I was doing alligator snapping turtle surveys, actually the last one of the year, and it was the last day of the last one of the year. And I picked up my phone when my alarm went off and turned my alarm off. And when I looked at my phone, I had a bunch of messages and a missed call from my dad. And I opened up the messages and it was just several in a row. And my mom had passed away in the night. And I woke up to find that out, and I called my dad and he told me about it. And so the last couple weeks has been adjusting to, as my brother called it, the new normal. My mom has been somebody that almost every day I would either have a phone call with or a text message with. Every time I would upload a video, she would be one of the first people to text me and say, "Great video!" Even if, you know, sometimes I'd have a video and I knew it wasn't that good, she'd be right there to say, "Great video," and I'd be like, "Thanks, Mom. I mean, that one was a stinker." So she was always supporting what I did. She was always coming over here and always excited to see the turtles. She remembered the ones that have names, and I mean, she held a snake when she came over here, and my mom grew up not a fan of snakes. So I think I got a lot of my love of animals from my mom. And yeah, so her being gone is, it still doesn't seem real. I'm still trying to adjust to it. I'm still trying to figure out, you know, life without my mother. And it's been really hard, but I've had a lot of support from a lot of people. Everybody's been super kind and super supportive. And, you know, from now, the best thing I can do is just keep trying to make her proud, do everything I can in life to make my mom proud. She had a great sense of humor, so I always try to remember the things that she would have thought is hilarious. And yeah, so that's all I have to say about that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate each and every one of you. If you like content like this, please subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Peace.